Hi there, welcome to the Gardens and Graveyard channel. My name is Charisma, and today we are checking on our dahlias and we're going to pre-sprout them for spring. I don't normally pre-sprout my dahlias, but I had a lot of failure this year and I just want to make sure that they're valid and they're going to come up and they're going to, be plants before I put them out into the garden. So I shared how I dug them up and divided them this last fall, and this year I didn't bother tagging any of them because I knew that I was just gonna have a big giant mix of colors and textures, and I didn't really care what they were, but I will go through. I have all the tags here, so I'll go through what kind of dahlias that I have. I just don't know which ones are which. Yeah, but I'm going to show you what exactly happened in storage, and then we're going to get them pre-sprouted. It should be a pretty straightforward project today. Myself set up here. So I've already gone through the dahlias after we removed them from storage because I got too excited. So before we get into what we're going to do, I'm going to share with you what we did and what happened. So I have packed dahlias away in cardboard boxes many, many times. The last time I did it here at this house, I think we packed it in either perlite or vermiculite, and it worked out just great. And I never looked at them all winter long. I didn't keep them moist, by putting a little bit of water on them. I know that some people have to do that. I knew that probably wasn't going to be necessary because we live in such a damp environment. Before we moved here, we lived in Portland, Oregon, and it was a lot a drier climate. And I had packed dahlias and iris in sphagnum moss over winter there because I had to pull my dahlias out of the ground up there because they would freeze in the often and not winter over. It wasn't a guarantee. So I had packed them in sphagnum moss, put them in our basement, and they looked beautiful. And then when we moved from Portland to the coast, I packed all my irises and dahlias in sphagnum moss. I pulled them out of the ground even early because we moved in the middle of the summer. I dug them up, the ones that I wanted to take with me, packed them away. They hung out in our garage here for a few months before fall came, and we planted them out in the garden. They looked beautiful. They did great. But they were only in our garage here on the coast for like two and a half months. Well, last winter, I guess I probably didn't have any vermiculite. I know I had to order some for seed starting. So, but I did have a bunch of extra moss, decorative moss. So I had sphagnum moss and I had just like green plant moss. And so I thought, oh, well, I've done that before. I'll just line these boxes with plastic so that they don't get damp and gross, and I can just layer moss between the dahlia tubers. Terrible idea. Of course, as usual, I didn't look at them all winter long because I never really have to do that and check on anything, and maybe I should have, and I would have noticed this happening earlier. But what happened was it stayed very wet and it totally molded. I don't know if you were going to be able to tell in the sun, but totally molded. So some of my dahlias, like my favorite one the only one, oh no, that's a different one. The only one I kept a tag for and like separated with the dahlia was this Michaela Miranda is from Swan Island, and it was totally dissected and rotten, completely gross. So that's dead. And then, I was just going through and there was a lot of mold on a lot of these dahlias, and some of them might be fine, but the ones that were really squishy and didn't have any evidence of eyes sprouting, I just tossed. And that's okay. we're just gonna compost all of that, and what's done is done. I did go through, still have 25 dahlias that I saved, and they look healthy, they're firm, they've got little sprouts on their eyes, they've got even some white roots starting. A couple of them, try to show one that's like really going for it. Where did it go? Oh, it's this one. Like this one, it's already sprouting and it has little roots and it's totally happy. So, you know, they're gonna be fine, and 25 is more than enough. I also went through this little box of dahlias to share. I did the same thing, lined the box with plastic. I put moss in it, lost a whole bunch of them. You can see this one, it's just covered in mold. Yucky, but they're still really firm, and they have growth points all the way around them. There's like 6 growth points. So I'm gonna pre-sprout it and see if it does anything. And so there's I think I counted 12 of the ones that I want to share, and 25 of the ones I'm gonna keep. They're all the same, I guess. They're just, these that I want to share came off of clumps of the ones that I kept. So I know they're like a really good mix of the same. I don't know which ones survived and which ones didn't, so it's all a big surprise. These are the tags from my garden last year, and I'll just quickly go through the ones that I maybe have. So I have Black Satin, I have Envy, Mary Munns, Ivanetti, Lights Out, Lady Liberty, Japanese Bishop, Mini Clarion, and I have no idea. This is just a blank tag. So there's that. And then I did have some Dahlias that I saved the tubers for. All 3 of those were completely mushy because, again, I had those separated out with their tags and not happening. So pre-sprouting is totally fine. I'm planning on putting these in my front garden beds that we planted, or we built this fall, that are filled with tulips right now. They're so beautiful. And I can only put about 5 in each one of those. So that's 10. I've got 25. And then I've got big barrels of that look like this all around the garden. And so I'm just gonna put 1 or 2 dahlias in each one of those, and that will be really fun. Or whatever ends up sprouting. So what I've done is half this barrel is full of raised bed potting mix, and I'm just going to, these can go in there really close together because we just want to see if they're going to sprout or not and actually grow. And what I want to make sure is that the growth points are pointing up. And so the dahlias end up kind of laying sideways. Sometimes the growth points are hard to find. And then like this one is a nice little round ball, and the roots are here and the growth points there, so we just put it straight down. This one looks like this. Okay. Man, they're so little. What is that? So really just checking to see if there's an eye, a neck, some roots, and we want to make sure that there's no squishy points, right? We don't want any rot happening. So, all right, so now they're all just sitting like this. I'm gonna put like maybe 2 inches of soil on top of the whole thing, and we're gonna just let them come up on their own, and then I'll just dig each one that has plant on it out and plant them out in the garden as soon as they start showing some activity. It's a lot. Right, so even like that one that had the sprouts on it, those sprouts can be totally covered in dirt or soil, because those wouldn't be up above the ground anyway. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with this container and the dahlias I want to share. Again, just double checking that I see growth points on all of them. Nice big strong growth point. On them. I just saw it. I don't know. Oh, okay. I'm going to show you a good example. Though this is really small, you can see right here the little growth point. It's kind of pinky color. And then this is the neck and the body. And it's nice and firm. And it's not too dissected. You can see these like little lines. That shows that it's dried out a little bit. But it's like plump, but firm. So it's not squishy, but it's not rock hard either. And so then when I plant it, I will plant it this way on the soil. So this growth point is going to grow straight up. And oftentimes when you get your dahlias from the farm, they're going to be about this size. So don't be surprised if you purchase dahlias and you get the tiniest little tuber. And that is completely normal. This might not be big enough for this. This one doesn't have an eye either. Okay, there's an eye. Just put it this way. Okay, is that it? I think so. Oops. These. Okay, so again, I just kind of snugged them all in there, and I'm just going to put a couple inches of soil over the top. This soil is already pre-moistened. It's like we got it from the store and it was on a big pallet outside, still wet. So I'm not going to water these in because I don't need them to be any more rotten than they already are. And I'm just going to stick a few of these in here so I remember that these containers have dahlias in them. And I think I'll go ahead and mark this empty one to give away. So I remember that this one is to share and this one is to plant. So there we go. So 15 to keep, 15 or 25 to keep, 15 to give away, and we'll see how many actually sprout and do their thing. Not sure how quickly they'll sprout, you know, in the next month or so. I expect to see some growth. So we'll let them do their thing, and then I will share with you when we put them out into the garden. We'll have to move them pretty quickly because they're tight in here. The ones that I give away, I might just put up into 1-gallon pots and, you know, slowly hand them out to friends. But the ones that I'm going to keep, they'll have to get out in the garden as soon as I start seeing some growth on them. But yeah, so if you live in a very damp and moist environment, do not use moss to store your dahlias. And the other thing I will say is I don't have to store my dahlias here. They winter over in my garden beautifully. But it was time to, one, I needed to divide a couple of them. They were huge, huge clumps. And two, I completely changed the area that the dahlias were growing in. So I had to dig them up, and I may as well try to save them. Going forward, I might choose differently what I'm going to be doing with my dahlias this year. Is going to be kind of an experiment about like what I'm doing with dahlias for the future. But for right now, I have these. They're free. I didn't have to buy any new dahlias for the year because I just wanted a big mix of all the crazy colors. I might have to buy a couple just to pop in, like if the red doesn't come up or the yellow one doesn't come up, I might have to buy 1 or 2 dahlias just to keep the mix going, because I buy a lot of that really dark purple, which is my favorite. And I'm sure I have plenty of that. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you are celebrating your life, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.